Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and gentle lady men. I'm Cassie, the bitch, and today we're going to talk about something really special to me. Super Metroid. Super Metroid is my favorite game. I originally wanted to do a let's play of this game because it is and will always be my favorite game. And even after 20 years, it still looks freaking amazing. And I still love playing it, probably even more today than I did back then. Probably because I was 4 back then, but you know. I decided against doing the Let's Play for a number of reasons. One being everyone's done it. 2 being that I really love Super Metroid. So I didn't want to do it too early. I didn't want to wreck it, pretty much. I want to wait until I get a lot better at this so I can do it justice and not look back on it and hate it. But I think I'm going to take a little trip into the history that I have with Super Metroid and the Metroid franchise. It started, well, I wasn't born until 92, so I wasn't born when the first game came out, obviously, since it came out in 86. But my mom was, and she was really into video games. You know, they were the new thing of the time. And she was also really into sci-fis, you know, Star Wars, Star Trek. She grew up watching those. So this new sci-fi game from Nintendo comes out called Metroid, and my mom is all over it. She thinks it's the best thing ever. She loved it. So she never invested in the sequel because it was on the Game Boy, which had to have a light source, and if the light source was too bright, you couldn't see the screen then, and if it wasn't bright enough, you couldn't see the screen, so she never bought one, she never invested in it. But when Super Metroid came out for the Super Nintendo, she had 3 kids and a Super Nintendo system, and we played Super Mario World all the time, so she figured why not invest in more video games and buy Super Metroid. She originally bought it for herself, for her to play and enjoy, but we started playing it, the kids, and we weren't supposed to. It is not a child's game. I mean, I don't remember the rating system. I don't remember if there was a rating system back then. I think there was. Yeah, I don't remember what it was rated. We didn't really pay attention to it. All we knew that it was grittier and darker than what we were used to, obviously, with Mario World being bright and colorful and happy and sunshiny. There was something about Super Metroid that all of us liked, like all of my siblings were enthralled with, because it was so different and really explorative. Like, you go into all these different places, you have to figure out puzzles, pretty much. You have to search every room, you have to find all these different things, and when you find new things, sometimes you have to backtrack to places you've already been to get to more things that you couldn't reach before. It was a multi-dimensional game. It was really a layered thing for us, and we really appreciated that there was so much to it. And we also appreciated that you couldn't just sit down and beat it in one afternoon. It took a little time. Now, the problem that I have with Super Metroid is nothing with the game, surprisingly. It's actually with some of the things like people say about it. Super Metroid has gained this reputation on the internet anyway, for being very difficult. Super Metroid is not that difficult. It came out in 94. So my mother bought it in 95, because she had a thing where she'd wait a year before she bought something to wait for the price to go down. I didn't go into kindergarten until 96, I think. So yeah, I beat Super Metroid before I went to school, so if it's so difficult, how did a 4-year-old and her siblings beat it with no help by themselves? It's really hard for me to grasp what people find so difficult about Super Metroid. It's a game about checking rooms. As long as you check all the rooms and clear out the map, you should be able to beat the game pretty easily. I think the problem that people have with it is that you do have to check all the rooms, you do have to search everywhere, you do have to find all these things, and it takes a lot of patience, and there's a lot of backtracking, and there's a lot of looking at things that you've already looked at least 3 times, just to see if there's something new there, if you can unlock something now. And some people find that tedious, some people don't enjoy that, and I don't know, I don't get it. maybe it's just something like it's not their cup of tea, so they find it difficult. It's kind of like, okay, when I was a 4-year-old, I played a number of games. We had Super Mario World, which was awesome and fun and colorful. Super Metroid, which I played a lot and beat at least 3 times before I started school. And we had, the typical Disney movies turned into video games. So I had, like, The Lion King and Aladdin, and I had a Scooby-Doo game, and Tetris Attack, which my sister beat my ass at all the time. It really depends on, like, what kind of game you're good at, because my dad wasn't really good at platformers, but he was really good at racing games. And my mom was really good at platformers, but she couldn't get shooters. So maybe it's just something about Metroid isn't really, like, not a lot of people have an ability or a gift for this genre or style of gaming. My big issue when I was growing up was I beat Super Metroid, fine, it's easy for me. I bust through it in like 3 days. To this day, have never beaten Super Mario World, ever. I've never seen the end of the game. I don't remember what the last worlds are. I've never, ever beaten the game. I've tried several times. It's hard. Super Mario World is difficult. Much, much more difficult than Super Metroid. With Super Mario World, it's all about timing. Everything is about timing. With Super Metroid, as long as you've explored the map and gone to every corner that you can explore, you should have everything you need. You can handle it. You can do it. With Mario, it's all about luck and timing. You have to be able to time this jump just right to get on this platform that's moving, and you have to be able to time everything perfectly to jump to the right height to get the points that you need, and it's difficult. And it was really difficult for a 4-year-old who didn't have great timing skills. Recently, we sat down and tried to play Super Mario World, and we got to the Donut Fields, and could not beat it, could not get past it, and it sounds really pathetic, because I know that I've beaten that particular board before, I've gotten to the underground section before. It's just, why is it that something that presents so much difficulty to me and people that I know not considered difficult, but Super Metroid is? It's hard for me to grasp. And I think it's a lot to do with the fact that Super Metroid requires you to have patience and requires you to search rooms and actually do everything in the game in order to succeed, where Super Mario World is all about timing. You don't need to explore everything to beat the game. In fact, there are several shortcuts that you can take to get to the end quicker if you know where they are. But Mario is a lot more colorful and a lot more child-friendly and fun. It's a fun world that you want to be in, so you don't see it as difficult. Super Metroid is very dark, very foreboding. So I think the atmosphere and the style of the game is what makes people think it's so difficult. But in comparison, for me, Super Mario World is much more difficult, and it's impossible for me to beat. I'm 22 now, and I've still never beaten it, no matter how hard I've tried. But I could sit here right now and run through Metroid no problem. But in closing thoughts, I guess I want to know, in your opinion, what makes this game difficult, or do you even find it difficult? And if you do, what do you think makes it difficult for you? Or if you don't find it difficult, what do you think makes it not difficult for you, I guess? I'll get better at talking to people, I promise, at some point. Yeah. So let me know what you think. If you want me to talk more about Super Metroid in the future, tell me. I will. I love talking about Super Metroid. I love Super Metroid. I'll talk about anything to do with the Metroid franchise. You just tell me what. It's really awkward for me to talk to somebody who's not in the room with me. I feel like a crazy person. Alright, until next time, I will see you guys later. Bitch out.